was in California, I had the good fortune to play through Cass Neal's Kruspe collection. He had quite a few Kruspes of every vintage and every metal, and it was interesting to see that the Horner models were big, rich horns. He played one actually, and we played together in the Beach City Symphony in Los Angeles, and he had one that was in absolutely perfect condition. It might be actually on one of his albums.
So as you can see, a horn guru not only has the instruments and the mouthpieces, but quite a collection of music, as you can see.
There's picture Cass, and it's interesting. Well, actually, I can't tell if that's his old. He had a 300,000 series. Now this is his old Con, I believe.
Okay.
You can see it doesn't have the reverse. I think this is his 300,000 series Con. Well, we can see. And this is a 300,000 series Con.
Just happened to have a 300,000 series Con from the first year. And this is a horn we'll probably have to visit with you again in the future. This is one of the original prototypes that you have, right?
It is.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of...
This is a little bit later. You can tell by the rotors.
Okay.
But I think that's not his Kruspe.
Okay.
I misspoke.
That's all right.
He just passed away not too long ago, 2 or 3 years ago. He's a fine horn player. Interesting that he was actually a PhD engineer with TRW.
Oh, wow.
Did a lot of. He's on some of the early recordings that were done in Los Angeles, with the old Los Angeles Horn Club. And good guy. It was a big help to me in helping me pick out a mouthpiece. And as a taskmaster in a horn section, you learned a lot when you played with Cass.
Sure.
He didn't pull any punches. He kept the section tuned and let you know when you're doing things wrong, which is good. This horn is really sensitive to hand position too. The smaller bell, I think, is one of the reasons for that. Your hand has to be absolutely lined up perfectly in the horn to get those slots. This mouthpiece hits the venturi exactly on. That's a good mouthpiece for this horn. It fits the venturi right on.
What mouthpiece was that?
That was, interestingly, Julie Landsman. Vienna horn mouthpiece, actually. Oh, it's a Hauser. No, it's a Hauser mouthpiece. But it is a Vienna horn mouthpiece.
Huh.
Which is interesting that the cup works on that mouthpiece. Now here's a This is a Giardinelli C8, and this is the shank on this, for some reason, seems to line up just right too.
It is real early in the morning.
Yeah.
I should point that out.
I have not had a cup of coffee yet. The Vienna horn mouthpiece works really well on this horn. In the touchy places on these horns, this would be a very good. If I was playing this horn, I'd probably reach for that mouthpiece. Here's a Con 7BW. This guy slips in about 1/4 of an inch past the Venturi. The 7BW is, not that it's not too significant, but it is the horn. It is the mouthpiece that comes with an 8D, which would be, one would think, a match for the Horner model. It's not as crisp and sharp a break into each slot with this mouthpiece, which is interesting because it does have a shallower cup than these, but it's mainly because the mouthpiece fits that far in, which is 1/4 of an inch past the Venturi on this one. So it's going to soften up those slots, and it's going to be, slurs will be great, but you really need to have, in my opinion, a little bit more of a notchy horn if you're going to play it seriously. And the notches don't seem to work well with this set con. It's a Constellation, the 7BW.
Right.
And it's once you get past that Venturi, you're on slippery ground.
Well, I know this might be asking a lot, considering how early in the morning it is. But could you maybe play just a quick excerpt on that versus the Horner, just so we could kind of hear the difference?
With apologies to Strauss.